6 tools. That's what building a faceless YouTube channel with I handed you across the last 6 videos. Something to find ideas and write the script. Something to generate the voice and build the video. Something to design the thumbnail and rank it in search. 6 separate tools. And 6 tools you fire up one at a time whenever the mood strikes is not a channel. It's a very expensive hobby. The thing nobody hands you is the assembly, how those 6 tools lock into one faceless YouTube workflow you can run again next week without reinventing it. But here's the part I want you watching for. One quiet step sits tucked between the stages, and it's the whole reason your videos pass instead of getting swept up with the slop.
Kai here, and now here's what stings before anyone gets excited. A video a month is a hobby. A repeatable system is a channel. And the people who quit usually aren't lazy. They're just exhausted from rebuilding the entire process from scratch every single time they sit down.
Hey everyone, this is Michael. And that quiet step Erica flagged, it's a checkpoint. A quick human judgment call at each stage that keeps the output yours instead of a template. That's the whole difference between assisting and replacing, and it's what keeps your channel eligible to earn.
I'm Liam, and I'll be the one watching the downside all episode. Skip those checkpoints and the machine still runs. It just runs off a cliff. You produce fast, sure, and you produce the exact templated slop YouTube wiped 16 channels for this past January. Speed without judgment is how you get terminated.
So we're building 2 things at once today. And here's the second half of it. Batch by stage, not one whole video at a time. There's the machine that assembles all 6 tools, and there's the rhythm that lets you run it like a production line instead of a panic every Sunday night.
Erica, put the machine on the board. Because until you see it as one loop, it just feels like 6 separate chores that never end.
Gladly, watch it as a single loop. It starts with the idea. The idea becomes a script. The script becomes a voice. The voice gets wrapped in a video. Then a thumbnail and a title to earn the click. Then you publish. And publishing feeds the next idea, so the loop never really stops turning.
And the magic isn't any single stage. It's that the output of one is the input of the next. Your script is literally what the voice tool reads. Your voice track is what the video builds around. Nothing gets recreated. Each stage just hands off the baton.
Here's the question I see sitting under every one of these videos, so let's put it on the table now. People keep asking, do I really need every one of these tools, or can I just use one app that does the whole thing? It's a fair question, and we'll answer it honestly before the end.
We'll settle that one, I promise. And if you want the whole machine laid out step by step, we built it for you. The full Faceless workflow guide, a tool directory for every stage, a prompt library, and a free earnings calculator, all live at grow.professorerica.com. Coming up, we assemble the machine stage by stage, we find the one checkpoint that keeps you off the terminated list, and we turn the whole thing into a calm weekly rhythm. Let's build. The whole machine runs off one idea. Every stage's output becomes the next stage's input, so you never rebuild the same thing twice. Let me walk you up the line and name the kind of tool at each stop.
Start where episodes 9 and 10 left you. You brainstorm ideas with AI, you validate them against real search demand, and you pick one. Then you draft the script, and you do the one thing the tool genuinely can't. You inject your angle. That's stage 1 and stage 2, and it's where the human layer starts.
Next stage, the voice and the rule from episode 11 still holds. You direct the read. You pick the tone, you fix the pronunciation, you pace it for meaning. A raw default dump is the sound of every slop channel out there. This is a real tool you'd actually open at this point.
This is exactly one of those tools. It will clone or design a voice and read your script back to you. But notice the word you. You're choosing the voice, you're directing the read, and you'd click Get Started to make an account. The tool executes. It does not decide.
Then the video builds around that voice track. The tools from episode 12 assemble the visuals to match your words, And here's the trap I keep flagging. Pick the tool for the job, never for the hype, because this ground moves fast under your feet.
Come on, some of the hyped tools are genuinely great.
Some are, right up until they vanish overnight, which is exactly why you never marry one tool. You marry the job it does.
Then a thumbnail and a title, episodes 13 and 14. The thumbnail earns the click, the title and tags help you get found. Same rule at both. You direct the concept, the tool executes the pixels. Every stage, a tool plus your judgment.
So here's the whole baton pass on one line. Script to voice, voice to video, video to thumbnail and search, and then out the door to publish. One clean handoff at a time.
One thing beginners always ask me right about here. If every stage feeds the next one, doesn't one weak stage wreck the whole video?
It does, and that's the point. A weak script means a weak voice and a weak video. Everything downstream inherits it. Garbage in, garbage out. So the discipline that saves you is boring but real. One folder per video. The script, the voice file, and the thumbnail all live in one place so you never lose the baton.
But running the baton fast is only half the job. Because you can hand off perfectly and still ship pure slop, if you skip the one thing we keep circling back to, the checkpoints.
Let me pause for just a second, because this genuinely helps. If you are getting value here, hit that like button, then subscribe and ring the bell. It costs you nothing, and it is the single biggest thing that keeps these videos coming.
The checkpoint is one honest question you ask before you move to the next stage. Answer it wrong or skip it, and all you've done is make slop faster. Let me put the gates on the board.
Take stage 1, the idea gate. Before a single word gets written, you ask, is there real demand for this, or is it just my guess? Episode 9 was the whole answer to that. If you can't point to the demand, you stop right there. That is the gate.
Stage 2, the script gate. You read the AI draft and you ask one thing. Is my actual angle in here, or is this a summary anyone could have generated? If it reads like it could belong to any channel on Earth, you rewrite it until it's unmistakably yours.
Voice and video, same gate. Did I direct this, or did I just accept the default? A default voice sliding over generic stock clips is the exact fingerprint of the channels that got wiped. 10 seconds of directing is the whole difference between yours and theirs.
Okay, I'll push on this. Every one of these gates costs time, and the whole promise of AI was speed. At some point, the checkpoints just slow you down to the same pace as doing it all by hand.
No, wait. The gates are the fast path, not the tax.
The fast path? Walk me through that, because it sounds exactly backwards.
Because the slowest thing in this whole machine is remaking a video that got no views, or worse, one that got you flagged. A 30-second gate that kills a bad idea saves you 4 hours of building something already dead. The gate isn't the tax, skipping it is.
And here's the gate people feel the most, because this is what your video actually walks into. Real search results. 3 thumbnails, 3 titles, and a viewer who picks one in half a second. Before you publish, you ask the fair question. Would I click mine on this shelf, next to those?
And this is the one people ask us most. How do I know if my video is original enough to pass? Here's the honest test. If you removed the AI from this video entirely, would a human idea still be standing there? If yes, you assisted, and you're safe. If nothing is left, you replaced yourself and you just shipped a template.
So that's the machine and its checkpoints. Which leaves the part that turns it from a nice diagram into an actual channel. Wait until you see how calm this gets once it's running on a weekly rhythm, without burning yourself out by Wednesday. The secret to running this every week isn't working faster. It's batching by stage instead of grinding one whole video from start to finish. Same machine, completely different rhythm.
Here's how it actually looks. Instead of taking one video all the way through, you block your week by task. One sitting for ideas and scripts, another just for recording every voice, another for assembling all the videos. Your brain stays in one mode instead of flipping between 6 tools an hour.
The reason that works is boring but real. Every time you switch tasks, you pay a little tax to reload your focus. Do the same task in one block, and that tax mostly disappears. It's the same reason a kitchen preps all its vegetables before the dinner rush, instead of chopping one onion per order.
So a real week might look like this laid out on a calendar. Scripts on the first day. All your voices on the next. Assembly after that, then thumbnails and search, and finally you schedule the whole batch. 5 focus blocks instead of 5 frantic all-nighters.
Before you commit a whole week to a tool though, one more checkpoint, and it's an easy one to forget. Re-verify that the tool still exists and still does the job the day you build. IT paranoia, its recent history.
Because it genuinely happens. OpenAI Sora was a headline AI video tool, and it got discontinued this year. The app shut down in April, and the developer access closes this September. Anyone who batched a month of videos on top of it woke up to a dead stage in their machine. Check the tool before you build the week.
But once the week is set and the tools all check out, here's the part nobody warns you about. It gets calm. That panic every Sunday night feeling just goes away because the work is a routine now, not a heroic scramble. A week of videos stops being a sprint and becomes an ordinary Tuesday.
Frankly, once it's this smooth, I'd just crank it to 5 videos a week.
No, start at 1.
1? That feels painfully slow when the machine can clearly do more.
Slow on purpose. Get the rhythm genuinely smooth on a single video, then add volume. Cranking the dial to maximum before the machine is smooth is exactly how you end up back in slop territory, uploading fast and thin.
Which lands us right on the real argument. How much of this should you batch and automate, and where does a human absolutely have to stay in the loop? That one is worth a proper debate. So let's have the fight that's actually worth having. This whole machine can be batched and automated hard, or it can keep a human hand on every single stage. Kai wants to automate aggressively and get his weekends back. Liam thinks that's precisely how a good channel drifts into slop. I'll referee this one. Kai, make your case.
The machine is a machine. Once each stage is dialed in, why babysit it? Automate the handoffs, let the tools pass the baton on their own, batch a month at a time, and spend your actual hours on the 2 things that move the needle. The idea and the angle. Everything downstream of that is just execution.
And a li where ju tuffers, am I the seg incur, a ju tuffers, a ju tuffers, a ju tuffers, am I twistu? And a li where ju is frisbee, a ju tuffers, a ju tuffers. The moment you automate the handoffs, you also automate skipping the checkpoints. Those checkpoints are the only thing standing between your channel and the 16 that got wiped. Automate the judgment away and all you've built is a very efficient slot machine.
Wait, Kai, before you answer the money side, answer the wipe channel's point directly. Can you automate the handoffs without also automating away the judgment?
You can, and that's the exact distinction I'd draw. Automate the plumbing, never the decisions. A tool can absolutely move the script over to the voice stage by itself. What it cannot do is decide the idea is worth making or that the angle is truly yours. Keep a human gate at those points. Automate everything in between.
That's a much smaller claim than automate it all.
Fair, it is smaller, and I'll take the smaller claim.
Liam, can you live with that framing? The plumbing gets automated, but the idea and the angle stay human.
I just add one more human gate, the final look before you publish. 30 seconds to ask, would I actually watch this? Automate the rest, keep those 3 human, and if I zoom out, I'm comfortable with that.
So the verdict I'd defend, and here's what I'd actually do. Automate the plumbing, never the judgment. The record backs it. YouTube's own policy is explicit that it is not banning AI. It's banning AI replacing the human. So the smart play is this. Automate the baton handoffs all you like, but keep a real person on the idea, the angle, and the final look before publish. Do that, and you get the speed without ever becoming the slop. So if you forget everything else today, keep this one line. Automate the busy work. Never automate the judgment. That single sentence is the whole machine. Quick recap. 6 tools become one machine when each stage hands its output to the next. A quick human checkpoint at every stage keeps it original and keeps you eligible to earn. And batching by stage is what makes it a calm weekly rhythm instead of a Sunday night scramble.
Here's the win you actually lock in. Get the machine smooth on one video a week, and future you inherits a system that runs on a Tuesday afternoon instead of a heroic all-nighter. Smooth first, fast later.
Try this tonight. Open a blank folder, name it with this week's video, and drop in your one idea in your own words. That's the human layer starting now. And send this to the friend who keeps saying they'll start a channel someday.
The catch I'd flag. A machine makes bad videos faster too. The checkpoints aren't optional overhead. They are the machine. Skip them and you've automated your way straight onto the terminated list.
In the next video, we wire these stages together with a no-code tool called N8N, so the handoffs happen for you automatically, and I'll show you exactly where a human still has to stay in the loop to keep it original. If this turns 6 scattered tools into one machine you can picture running, hit like and subscribe. We're building this whole system one video at a time. And the full step-by-step workflow guide, the tool directory, and the prompt library are all waiting at grow.professorerica.com.
Here's the one we want your take on, so drop it in the comments. Are you going to automate this machine hard or keep a hand on every stage? Where's your line?
Same teacher, brand new lesson next time. Thanks for watching. This is Professor Erica.